Government Week in Review for the week ending Friday, August 25th, 2023. I am Rikisha St. Louis. In the headlines, government seeks approval for $148 million supplementary budget from the Houses of Parliament, and CXC results are out. We'll have details to this and more when we return.
Prepare for hurricane. Prepare for hurricane. Make sure you have your radio and your batteries too. Waterproof flashlight candles will do. Tin stuff, garbage bag, first aid kit. Come on people, make sure you have it. Clean water in a container and a hurricane plan. Hear me no man.
Hurricane damage is beyond your control. Surviving the aftermath is up to you. Have a hurricane plan. It can save your life and your family too.
Prepare for hurricane. Your hair, prepare for hurricane.
Welcome back. The lower house on Friday debated and approved the supplementary appropriation bill, which seeks to make provisions for the appropriation of an additional sum of $148,990,234 to service the state of Grenada for the fiscal year 1st January to 31st December 2023. Several ministries are expected to benefit from the supplementary budget, which takes into account provisions, loans, projects that were not considered in the budget. It was presented by Finance Minister Honorable Dennis Cornwall.
It includes a provision for $15,559,402 in recurrent expenditure and a total of $133,430,823 with a total of $148,990,234 for the year 2023. Mr. Speaker, the appropriation refers to several ministries, which I'll basically ask at some point in time that the ministers responsible for those line ministry to speak more through those items, and therefore I would not delve into them at this point in time.
Prime Minister Honorable Deacon Mitchell stood in support of the motion. He outlined how his ministries and others will benefit from the budget, including the staging of a pre-COP23 meeting, Grenada's 50th Independence Anniversary celebration, and the development of the agriculture food sector.
Office of the Prime Minister. The recurrent sum sought there is a sum of $250,000, and the capital sum sought is a sum of $7,500,000. Mr. Speaker, the recurrent sum is made necessary because Grenada, Mr. Speaker, has agreed to host a pre-COP28 meeting of heads of government of CARICOM. $7.5 million, which is on the capital, which means it's not recurrent. Mr. Speaker, this sum is an appropriation to address the 50th anniversary of Grenada's independence. The Ministry of Foreign Trade and Export Development, there's a capital appropriation there of $684,603. And, Mr. Speaker, that sum is appropriated, Mr. Speaker, as part of the agri-food sector development and strengthening of the national food safety system. It is, in fact, Mr. Speaker, part of a grant, and so it's really there to put the sum on account and to be able to account for it.
Minister for Economic Development, Honorable Lennox Andrews, said under his ministry, 4 projects will benefit from $23.1 million allocated under the supplementary budget.
SIEP, Climate Smart Agriculture Project, which you're all familiar with, in which $1.3 million is being provided as counterpart financing. We have ramped up the implementation of this project. We have a number of roads that we are implementing and for which contracts have been given out to start implementation as quickly as possible. So we have the Closure Road, we have the Paradise Road, we have a road presently under implementation, the Granton Road, up in Wales. Okay. The OECS Competitiveness Tourism Project, this is a regional project. It involves on the greater side, a big portion of it has to do with the rehabilitation of the Fort George. And that project has started. It is in full swing. Good. We are going to, at the end of it all, make Fort George into a major tourism attractment site.
Farmers, agro-processors and livestock farmers are being invited to participate in a project supported by the Ministry of Agriculture with funding from the World Bank. $10 million have been set aside to execute the project, which will be done in 4 components: food crop production, livestock production, agro-processors, and spice replanting, specific to the needs of the farmers. This project is aligned with government's plans to boost the production and enhance the sustainability of the sector. It is open to every farmer interested in enhancing his skills or operations in accordance with the criteria for selection. Permanent Secretary Aaron Francois explained that the crop production component of the project will provide labor, fertilizer, equipment, and other support to the farmers with half an acre or more of land.
One of the criteria for the food crop beneficiary for selecting the food crop beneficiary, he must be registered. The person must be a registered farmer. The person must have a land approximately half an acre and more. You must have good proper title up for the land, yeah, and you must have a good track record of producing that crop. So whether it is sweet potato or yams or dashing, we want to know that you have those qualities or those traits.
He outlined that the livestock component targets farmers who rear pigs, sheep, and goats. 3 centers have been assigned to assist with the production: Laura, Maribou, and Carriacou.
Import hybrid quality material and to implement breeding programs. The intention is to implement 3 major breeding programs. Establish 3 centers, breeding centers. One at Laura for the small ruminants, one at Maribou Farm School for the pigs, and in carriacou, we're going to do both small ruminants and pigs also. We are going to select some special farmers as beneficiaries, and the idea is these farmers, some of the criteria, they must have proper facilities. We intend to give them a pair of the animals. They must have proper facility for the animal. They must be registered. Yeah, they must have a good track record again of producing that particular animal.
The ministry is collaborating with the Grenada Cooperative Nutmeg Association and the Grenada Cocoa Association for the spice replanting aspect of the project.
We want persons that are actively involved, have available lands, they want help, further help to expand production and so on. And so we're going to help in clear fields, we're going to help establish new fields under that program. We're going to provide planting material, and so we call in all spice farmers: cocoa, nutmeg, clove, pimento, name it, bay leaf, all the spices. We intend to increase the acreage under production. So the idea of the project is we are going to select some agro-processors. Again, these persons must be registered, they must be active persons that are involved in agro-processing. And the project intends to give support with equipment, and the slightly medium-sized one, we intend to provide some support to upgrade some facilities.
Interested farmers are asked to contact the Ministry of Agriculture to register, which will be followed by a farm assessment conducted by officials from the ministry. Results are out for the nation's students and others across the region who wrote the Caribbean Secondary School Education Certificate, CSEC, and the Caribbean Advanced Proficiency Certificate CAPE during the May-June examinations period. The Caribbean Examinations Council held its official release ceremony on Thursday in St. Kitts and Nevis. Director of Operations at CXC, Dr. Nicole Manning, notes that students performed well in the business subjects for CSEC in 2023, but she says much work needs to be done in other subject areas, notably the sciences. CXC Registrar and CEO Dr. Wayne Wesley says the region needs to put structures in place where all students can achieve.
If it is that we want every child to recognize their fullest potential, then it needs be that we create a system that accommodates every single child. It therefore begs the question, and we should ask ourselves, what would have caused a human being to be transformed from the cradle of love to the crucible of hate, where governments across the region are currently challenged with the social ills, a security budget that is ballooning because of the challenges we faced? In my discussion with the Honorable Dr. Terence Drew, your Prime Minister, he made a very important point, that as we look at the education system, we should seek to create opportunities for all, those who we consider requiring more attention, those who we consider to be gifted. What are we doing with them? Because perhaps while we are experiencing what we are experiencing across the region, you don't know if it is the gifted meeting with those at the lower end, coming together to create the kind of challenges that we are facing. I think it is time that we consider an education system that is transformed, moving away from a failure approach where we begin to speak more of what students have not achieved and move into the realm of speaking about what students have achieved, from a failure approach to an achievement approach. It is much better for us to affirm the confidence of a child than to speak negatively to that child's well-being and prosperity.
He adds that as CXC celebrates 50 years of service to the region, it will be transforming its approach to better support the individual territories it serves.
As we celebrate 50 years at the Caribbean Examinations Council, we are cognizant of the need to change and to transform. So we are also playing our part to transform for greater regional impact. That transformation will see us repositioning ourselves by reimagining our philosophy to create multiple pathways for students to demonstrate their competence. We are rethinking our qualification framework, where a competency skills-based approach first is being contemplated, recognizing competence as we go. We are rethinking our assessment framework and validation framework, where we will begin to provide for progressive, flexible assessment. We will be working, and accordingly, we have changed our product model to a classical innovation, hybrid innovation, and proxy innovation. You know our classical innovation. Our classical innovation is our product that you currently enjoy, our CSEC and our CAPE. But we recognize that within the context of national member states responding to their own national imperatives, that there will be need to address those imperatives, but at the same time remain relevant within the region and globally. For that to happen, our hybrid approach, innovation, will begin to work collaboratively with ministries of education across the region, where curriculum designed by CXC will be utilized alongside national programs that are developed. That's an hybrid approach. Our proxy approach will begin to recognize national programs that are designed towards equipping students with the requisite skills and competency, and us as a regional body charged with the responsibility for validating and recognizing competence that will have international recognition. We will come alongside ministries in those national programs through a quality assurance mechanism, ensuring that they receive the recognition they deserved.
This is the Government Week in Review. When we return, Grenadians turn out in numbers to take advantage of free dental clinic.
Have you noticed an increase or decrease in your electricity bill? You know that changes in the fuel and non-fuel rates affect your bill. You should also be aware that changes in household activities affect your bill. Ask yourself these questions. Have the rates changed? Have there been more people at your home? Have your children been on holiday? Have you used your fan or air conditioning unit more often to beat the heat? Are any of your electrical appliances or equipment faulty? Have you added any new appliances such as transformers, water heaters, or pumps? Make it a habit to understand any changes on your electricity bill. For more factors that affect your bill, visit www.grenlec.com. Grenlec, energizing our Grenada.
Welcome back. More than 600 patients have received attention during the first week of the free dental care clinic at the National Cricket Stadium, and that number is expected to more than double when the second aspect of the project takes place next week. The close to 50 visiting volunteers from the US and Canada have seen patients with different dental issues over the past 5 days. President of the Board of Directors of Great Shape Inc., Dr. C.R. Anderegg, a periodontist by profession, says the long-term goal is to empower members of the public to take better care of their teeth.
These procedures involve extractions, restorations, restoring diseased teeth, and also a lot of cleanings. A comment I'd like to make is that I wish we wouldn't have to do this, and the only way for us to prevent these extractions and restorations is to do what we're going to do next week, and that's essentially prevention, 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 and sealants. So I know it's a big wish, but one day I would like to eliminate my job, and so we wouldn't have to go and take out teeth, and especially in the younger individuals. It really hurts my heart when I see a young child and we have to remove molars. It gives them the inability to chew properly, eat. If we have to remove anterior teeth, it's hard to get a job without a nice smile.
A new project called Seal Grenada will be introduced on Monday, designed to specifically reduce cavities in children. The week-long project will facilitate students between the ages 6 and 18 from different schools in the St. David district. However, President of the Grenada Dental Association, Dr. Julie Dubois, says they can accommodate patients from across the island to ensure more children are reached.
We have collaboration from Canada and the US, along with locals here, who have come together, and we decided that we're going to set up our location at the current government school because that's an area that is highly populated with school children. We thought of doing the primary school children first, but we have extended the age range from 6 years. We thought of doing from 6 to maybe 12 or so, but we've extended it now to 18. So it will include the secondary children of secondary age as well. So this is what we're going to do, and we're just hoping that people take advantage of this because the volunteers, of course, would have paid their airfares, brought in their equipment, the materials, and all we have to do is to show up and be grateful.
Health and Family Life Education Curriculum Officer in the Ministry of Education, Justina Bartholomew, is imploring parents, guardians, and students to take advantage of the free service being offered.
To encourage you, parents, principals, teachers, community members, encourage you to get your children on board, because Seal Grenada is a massive effort in saving Grenada. So we are sealing Grenada to save Grenada for later. So get on board, do not be left behind. And remember, all students, it has now been opened up to students ages 6 right up to 17, bordering 18, as Dr. Dubois would have said. So you are not limited anymore. Make sure that you get yourself there on Monday morning at Corinth Government School.
Seal Grenada will be held at the Corinth Government School Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Parents and guardians are asked to sign consent forms, which will give the professionals authorization to undertake dental procedures on their children. This is the 4th year that Great Shape Inc. is conducting the project in Grenada, which has been held in partnership with Sandals Foundation, the Ministry of Education, Youth, Sports and Culture, and the Ministry of Health, Wellness and Religious Affairs. The 2023 winners of Spice Mass will officially presented their prizes on Wednesday. This year, the winners received an increase in prize money, and a scholarship for the 2023 Carnival Queen complements the Ministry of Education. Winners of the Children Carnival Frolic, Traditional Mass Festivals, All Mass, Monday Night Mass, Road Match, Panorama, Queen Pageant, Groovy Soca, Power Soca, and National Calypso were awarded. Those who have achieved success were congratulated by Spice Mass Corporation CEO Cecil Noel.
A winner is someone who recognizes his God-given talents, work his tail off to develop them into skills, and use those skills to accomplish his goals. And I'll add, self-praise is for losers. Be a winner, stand for something, and always have class and be humble. I warmly congratulate all of you winners of Spice Mass 2023. Don't settle with what you recently attained. I encourage you to keep reaching for additional successes, being mindful that success is not a destination, but a journey.
Noel also thanked the stakeholders who were involved in this year's festival. Spice Mass is a fantastic tourism product, according to Minister for Youth, Sports and Culture, Honorable Ron Redhead. He said the government will continue to work with stakeholders to promote the cultural festival.
Stakeholders, without you, there is no Spice Mass. Without the product Spice Mass, without you, the product Spice Mass is but an illusion. The thousands of visitors to our shows, the millions of dollars that filter through to our people would cease during this festive time of the year if there is no Spice Mass. I urge you, take your craft seriously. Keep trying new things. Remember, the spectators are the ones that fuel you.
The prize-giving ceremony was held at Pier 57. Spice Mass 2023 themed The Evolution was launched in April at the Kirani James Athletic Stadium and was successfully executed. A clear structure has been agreed upon for the St. David Environmental Warden Program under the Ministry of Infrastructure Development following a recent meeting with Prime Minister and Parliamentary Representative Honorable Deacon Mitchell and ministry officials. The meeting was held after concerns were raised by the wardens, who then called upon government to provide a solution. Parliamentary Representative Honorable Deacon Mitchell told the gathering that the intention is to make the program more consistent with enhanced maintenance and beautification projects.
We also have to have a plan, and we have to be consistent. If we're running all over the place, you start here, then you have to stop, and then you have to run there, and then run there. All that happens is we end up with chaos, and nothing gets done. So both the government and the workers have to be clear that when we begin the year, we know what we're doing for the entire year. We know where we're working and we're consistent. Of course, there'll be emergencies and things we need to respond to, so we have to leave some room for that. But we have to have a plan. Everybody needs to know what the plan is, and we have to be clear so that we can tell whether or not we're doing the things we said we can do, and you are doing the things that we've asked of you. So that basically is what I hope to be able to implement as we go forward.
Some of the concerns raised included safety, the need for an increase in wages, as well as proper equipment.
Safety on our roadways, concerning our workers. I think most of the general public trivialize our work, and they really don't show respect to the workers on the side of the road. It is very, very dangerous walking, especially on the main road. And sometimes workers are almost run over by motor vehicle, and they're still trying to insult us. What, come out there, move there, and them kind of thing. So we need some, I guess, cones, signs, vests, whatever it takes to, first of all, because our human resources is the most important thing. I think we need an increase in payment, especially to the men, because sometimes my heart and all go out to them. Because, for instance, I never see man climb bamboo tree. And man climbing bamboo tree to get overhanging off the road. So I really think you should look into the wages we have been paid. The hours, I don't know, it's up to you guys to determine what amount of hours we work. But I think these are the two main concerns I have.
When we start a work, we start a job, that we're not finishing that job. And I think that we need to finish the job in order, because the people, the public, is talking about it and we getting the blame. They call us all kind of names. So I feel that when we start a job, that we should be able to finish that job. For instance, we work on the Table Hill. We should be able to reach down Lassages with that work instead of taking us out there and send us somewhere else, which they are on the good, because the people talking about it.
To do a proper job on the road, we must have a chainsaw. We must have the proper tools to do it. You understand? For instance, we need a transportation when we have to go from one point to the next point. You understand? To carry the tools. You understand? Tools is very important to do a proper job.
St. David's is very large. And we only have 6 gangs in St. David's. I don't think that is sufficient. Right? Because to cover Lassages, Windsor Forest, Pata, Mardi Gras, I don't think it's sufficient. And so I think if it's possible to increase the gangs, and if we increase the gangs, then we could have them stationary. Because the gang we have presently is not sufficient. Thank you.
Honorable Mitchell gave the commitment to work with the Ministry of Infrastructure to, among others, expand the teams in the parish and source equipment and protective gear.
When I look at the current operation and the number of gangs, the number of people in the gangs, and the amount of roadway that you have to cover, more than perhaps any other parish, you've got significant main roads from Calvin Westall all the way up to Redgate, and when you hit Redgate, you go back Penmutter all the way to St. Paul's, and then from there you go Windsor Forest, Penmutter, then you have Mardi Gras to cover, and then you have all of the back roads that take us all the way up to Felix Park, up this side, and then you have the interconnecting roads, Syracuse, and so on, and all of the roads that come through Pomrose, Latant. That it's a lot of road to cover. So it is something that I certainly will be prepared to support. That we in fact have more prominent gangs on the road. So there are 2 areas: the equipment and the transportation. I'm also prepared to support, but we have to really think it through, because I don't want a situation where we end up with abusing equipment or abusing transportation. So it is something I'm prepared to support, but I think we're going to have some more detailed discussion with the ministry to see how we can support, which is why I asked about the idea of fixed gangs, because if you have fixed gangs, you might have more predictability, and it might be easier for people to get to the venue, especially if we're picking people from the area.
We take another break. When we come back, more than $13,000 worth of instruments donated to the National Folk Group.
At the NIS, our team proudly works to support the evolving needs of Grenadians. We have made some changes to our operations and want to keep you informed. Firstly, we are happy to introduce the new unemployment benefit. This benefit will provide an insured person with 50% of his or her former income in the case of sudden unemployment. To support this benefit and other benefits we offer, it was necessary to increase the contribution rate. The contribution rate will increase gradually each year until it reaches 16% in 2031. As always, the contribution will be split between you and your employer. The pensionable age will also increase from 60 to 65 years. This increase will also be gradually reaching age 65 in 2029. Pensioners will continue to be eligible for a pension from age 60, but will receive a reduced payment. The NIS recognizes that the prices of basic customer goods are increasing globally. Therefore, we are happy to also increase the weekly minimum pension payment by 25%. Finally, we have adjusted our survivors' benefit payment to a percentage of the age pension minimum. Widows, widowers, and dependent parents will receive 100% or $58 weekly, while children will receive 50% or $29 weekly of the deceased's pension. We are here to make the transition to these new changes as clear and simple as possible. If you have any questions on how these changes impact you and your family, please contact our new informational hotline at 440-6647 or visit www.nisgrenada.org. Thank you for allowing us to be your social security provider.
Welcome back. The work of the National Folk Group has been bolstered with the donation of instruments under the Ministry of Education, Youth, Sports and Culture, valued at $13,500. The instruments include a guitar and keyboard, which were handed over by Minister of State in the Ministry of Youth, Sports, Culture and Education, Honorable Ron Redhead, following an official ceremony at the ministry's conference room on Wednesday. Minister Redhead said the ministry acts as a conduit for the development of culture, and they are happy to assist in that regard.
This is important. We at the ministry see ourselves as the conduit for the development of our culture, and the equipment I anticipate will go a long way in making this a reality.
He informed that there are plans to further expand the folk group, noting that music has proven to bring about social change and positively mold the mindset of Grenada's youth. The minister also encouraged young people to recognize music as a lucrative career while endeavoring to attain a solid education.
We should talk about enhancing, and we should roll out at a primary school level, maybe programs to get even the youngest among us involved in our folklore, the music, etc. So I think all in all it augurs well for us for the future, and it is testimony to the Division of Culture's vision and foresight and your ability to organize some equipment. Hopefully we can get some equipment in the ministry as well just now so that we can roll out some of our other programs itself and to be able to impact on the nation.
Music teacher and member of the folk group Lauren Ramdani expressed gratitude for the donation, which she said will have a positive impact on the program.
It's wonderful that this presentation has been made this morning, and that the ministry is backing up, is supporting this group, because I think they have a lot of talent. They're very gifted. Their voices are beautiful. Every time I hear them, I think, thank God for them. And many of them have been in the group from the inception, which must have been in the 1980s and before, because some of these members were in previous folk groups.
The Grenada Folk Group was founded in April 1986 by Mr. George Maguire, former Minister of Education, Youth and Sports, under the late Prime Minister, Honorable Herbert Blaise. Its first director was Ms. Shirley Robinson. The National Folk Group, with its resurgence this year and support from the Division of Culture, will be one of the main highlights of the December 1st to 3rd Camahan Folk Festival, where the donated instruments will be used. The festival will be held in Sauteurs St. Patrick and will seek to celebrate and showcase the Spice Islands' African heritage and traditions. The Grenada Helping Hands organization continues to make its contribution to the academic advancement of secondary school students, both on mainland and in Carriacou, through the provision of scholarships and the donation of school supplies. The U.S.-based charitable organization lends support to various sectors, including religious, literary, and amateur sports competition, among others. On Monday, Leon Joseph, a student of the Happy Hill Secondary School, received cricket and football gears, as well as uniform and stationery supplies. A handing over ceremony was held at the Grand Mall Community Center. Treasurer of the organization, Sebastian Edgehill, said over 5 students have been supported in the past.
These are some of the items we give to him for his, to see what we could enlighten with his career. And we will be supporting him for his 4 years or 5 years into secondary school. We raise funds in New York, basically, by doing little bingos or a long sale, fundraisers to sponsor all these occasions. And it turned out to be progressive. So we hope this endeavor that we're taking now will be a next success and based on the organization again. We had did basically 7 children already. When secondary school, we achieved, let's say, like 30-some subjects from the kids. And the future of the kids that we have, even one is a sergeant in St. Kitts right now, which we had sponsored for his secondary school career. We got others that right now I think, I don't know if it's necessary to tell where she works or not, but at least she made achievement and is very progressive in the organization herself.
Former scholarship recipient Aloma Joseph encouraged Leon to remain focused, humble, and persevere to be the best version of himself. She reminded him of the support system working along with him to ensure he succeeds.
If you'd have received a scholarship from them, you are blessed, because I was blessed. Imagine that you don't have to worry about where your family will get the funds from, for bus fee, for school uniforms, all the supplies that you need, and all your expenses were paid, right? And it did lift the heavy weight off my parents, and all you needed to do was just work hard, keep your grades up, and do your best, make your family proud as well as the organization, because they're not rich people, but they work hard, they have fundraisers just to support you, and to help in your expenses. So what encouragement I would give you is to set your goals, work hard. Secondary school is not a bed of roses. As you get higher, it will get harder. But all you need to remember is that you have a good support team behind you. You have them supporting you as well as your family. So all you need to do is work hard. You may have some students that may want you to skip class, do what you're not supposed to do, but you have to remain focused and just remember that you have people supporting you.
Nimrod Oliver, who gave support to the organization in the past, also encouraged the new recipient to make the best of the opportunity.
Your job, your focus is to go to school, focus on school. And from the list of items here, I can see that you're on the right track, because it's not only educational. There's a lot of sporting equipment here. There's cricket, there's soccer, right? So which means you well-rounded, right? So you have some sports, you have the sporting discipline as well as the educational discipline.
Finally in the news, a group of men and women in St. Mark is now completing a 3-month course in fish handling and processing. The Caribbean Vocational Qualification Certification Training is funded by the Grenada Sustainable Development Trust Fund to the tune of US $10,000. It is part of a developmental project of the St. Mark's Women in Action to build capacity and create sustainable livelihood in the fishing parish. Nicole Charles, second vice president of the organization, said the hope is that the participants can establish a cooperative to enhance the packaging and marketing of fish within the parish.
A lot of women, they might be home, some don't have an alternative source of funds. And I'm talking about regular funds like a salary and income that you could actually use to sustain yourself and family, especially for the women who are single mothers. It actually is a boost for some of them, and even those who are into a small business already. Some may have started at a minor stage, and it's one area that will actually help them to boost what they're actually doing and to improve on the quality of what they will be doing, especially those who would have been engaged in that field already. We had 2 participants who would have done a bit, but maybe would not have been certified.
at that level, at this level, I should say. And we hope that this session, this program will be a boost for them, will lift the self-esteem, and will also be something whereby maybe they can even form a cooperative or small groups whereby they can work together to enhance themselves and their families, and it will also be a way of lifting their status and also lifting the community of Victoria and the surrounding areas as well.
Marketing and Communication Officer at the Grenada National Training Agency, K. Julian Gutu, and Program Officer of the Sustainable Trust Fund, Abigail Oliver, are optimistic that the training will see the creation of niche projects that will enhance skills and advance what already exists in St. Mark.
We are doing fish handling and processing here. As we know, St. John's and St. Mark's are big fishing areas. So this is an ideal program to do here. So we are enhancing the skills to advance what they already know in the fish industry. So we're just taking it a step further by saying, okay, what can you do to add value to the product, to fishing? So we can salt it, you can smoke it, you can, do other things with the fish. So that is one way women, because this program has been put on by the women, St. Mark's Women in Action, can give persons employment opportunities, give them additional opportunities to, explore further getting income from other sources outside of just maybe fishing and selling fish.
They will be certified in fish handling and processing training, right? The purpose of the training is to empower the candidates to be successful entrepreneurs or partners, right, in the fish industry, to create more marketability for them and also to maintain or sustain livelihood.
Participant Ryan Elahi spoke of the experience and what the plan is moving forward.
It's really exciting. After swell, we learn a lot. Because there's a lot of things about fish handling I didn't know before that I get to know now. I mean, we do a few lessons on how to grade fish, which I didn't know how to grade before. You show us different cuts with snapper. Before we just scrape, we cut with it, So we have learned a lot. I think the class is very exciting also. A lot of people in the area, they don't know how to grade fish. The fishermen don't know how to protect the fish in the ocean when they hold the fish so they could get better quality fish. So for me, I was really interested in that. Well, I want to share my knowledge, and I'm looking forward with a couple of the students in the class so we could start a little business.
That story ended the week in review for today. Until next time, I am Rakisha St. Louis.